receive from them. The final response that I want to come to, it's following the court judgment, how are we going to do? From the onset, government's position through the minister, through the MEC, was that we are not going to expose law enforcement officials or anybody to any danger. So how we are going to do this, the MEC has said it before, to say we will use machinery, we will use state-of-the-art equipment guided by the experts that are there. So that's how this thing is going to be going on. Not police, not anybody. That's not the court, what the court said, that we must go underground. So we must not keep on going around circle and, confusing issues. Thanks, Angie.
No, thank you very much. The Section 11 of the Constitution speaks about a right to life. A right to life is not only applicable to those criminals. The right to life speaks also to the police, because we need to also to protect the right of the police. So we have always made it very clear that no one is going to be sent underground. It is for that reason that we took advantage of the fourth industrial revolution, where we are embarking on cameras also to verify other things. Yes, we are dealing with criminals. They are heavily armed. That's a fact. It has been proved with the number of guns, illegal guns, that also, and other dangerous criminals that were able to be confiscated as part of these operations. The police, they've got a process of dealing with that, and we will get those guns as part of also the evidence, and also as part of the process of making sure that we disarm them. So in a quest to make sure this thing does no longer perpetuate going forth. I think most of the questions the general have answered them.
Thank you. Let me see. We'll start with Mr. Tabiso Moss and then Vito. Then the next round will go to Tabang and yeah. Okay, Tabiso.
Thank you. I just want clarity on 55 legal minors who have resurfaced about their health condition, and also when they apprehended, were they formally charged, what happened just a little bit. And then on the issue of experts analyzing the information that was gathered through the camera, is there any other step that follows following the analysis of the information, or after that you just go straight to the feedback process?
Okay, thanks. Vito?
Good afternoon, General. Vito from Times. General, I'm not sure whether was there an opportunity to interact with those who just resurfaced, and what are they telling us? What is the situation down under there, General? Because we've been informed that those underground are weak, very sick, in bad health conditions. I'm not sure whether has such questions been raised or maybe posed to those who just been resurfaced and asked them about the conditions underground, that they need food and likes and likes and likes. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. MEC, we have just been joined by some of the colleagues. The colleagues, we apologize, we have started earlier than, we welcome MEC and then General Lasane.
Yeah, the next step that follows, Tabiso, is to extract those illegal miners and arrest them. It is as simple as that. General, speak to the state of the miners that resurfaced when you were cross-questioning them, rather.
Okay. The 55 that has resurfaced from the 22nd until this morning, the majority are from Margaret Shaft. And the reason why this is of importance to government and everybody who's here is to dispel the narrative that says that these people have been held underground against their will and whatever. Margaret Shaft, right from the onset, was made available and they could have gone there. Now, that's where this issue of people being held against their will comes now to the fore. And like I said, we will investigate that to say if indeed there's such an allegation, they must tell us who and then we will deal with that. It is our responsibility. We have steadfastly, even before the court, and the court agrees with us, that this is crime. It is a crime. To mine, you must have the necessary documentation and whatever. And to possess a firearm, you must be licensed. To do everything that these people are doing, the law clearly says what is crime and criminality. So these people, as and when they are coming up Thabisomos, we arrest them. We are not going to negotiate, but we are also doing that, taking into account our constitutional responsibility and mandate. Those who require medical treatment, as members of the media, you've been here, you have seen government has put medical people there, ambulances. Those that require medical assistance, obviously they will be taken. But those who are in a fit state, they are taken directly to the detention facilities. They are charged accordingly. We are dealing with each situation as it unfolds. You have heard from the report by the MEC, the majority of these people are foreigners. It's not xenophobia, but are people who have violated and transgressed the South African Immigration Act, which says for you to be in South Africa, you must enter through a gazetted port of entry, you must have valid documentation and whatever. And for you to remain here, you must also have a legitimate reason for you to be here, not to commit crime. So let us dispel this notion that no, these are people who are being persecuted and whatever. From a policing point of view, we are going to deal with this, and the court agrees with us as crime. What is the situation underground, Pito? Again, like I said to Refilwe, we must remember we have been operating on the basis of the narrative of people, including from the local communities, who have been saying there are a lot of dead bodies, there are sick people and whatever. But there was never any independent verification of what they are saying. All that we did was to say, let's call the experts. Let them tell us, is this what is happening? You yourself, you were there when, after the MEC, the minister was here, suddenly it was no longer 4,500. It was 500, and they were saying 300 are hungry, but the issue was bring us food. Now suddenly 55 have resurfaced, well strong, and therefore the question about the many people who are weak and whatever, it should be answered by the people who put this thing in the first place, so that they can then substantiate, because they were basing this thing on the one individual that they lowered down, who came and said this. Our position has always been that we believe that these numbers are exaggerated, they are not substantiated. They went to court and they could not substantiate. So us, we are not going to work on the basis of assumptions and speculation. We have used, like the MEC say, 4th IR, we will then cross that bridge. But the 55 that has come out never indicated to us, Peter, that since this problem started, members of the media, only one corpse, and which we have sent to our forensic expert, pathologist. And it became clear that that person passed on a long time ago. You were there. So these are the questions that, as you engage with these people, you must also put them to them, so that it should not, it has never been the position of government. We have gone to court to challenge this thing. So, Peter, as soon as we have the proper assessment, we will tell you And like we said, it will also inform our next phase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, Mr. Taban, then we'll come to you, and then we'll build another round to accommodate colleagues who have just arrived. Yes, Taban.
Thank you very much, There are some community leaders who form part of this operation of retrieval who have come out to accuse government authorities of sidelining them. They say that they also went as far as sending a letter through the Lawyers for Human Rights that they be allowed access to be able to continue with their retrieval, since well that they say that this one is taking time and people might be dying underground. So we want a confirmation from you. Is it true that they're being sidelined, and that is the information also available to them to know what is happening in terms of this retrieval process? And also confirm if you received this letter from the Lawyers of Human Rights with regards to them asking for permission to also be able to take part in the retrieval process. Thank you.
Thank you, Taban.
Nokanya again from EWN. The first one is, if we are to believe that the people that are underground are heavily armed and are as hostile as we are told, are police prepared for a pushback when it come time when they do have to be pulled up to the surface of the earth? How prepared, well, above surface, how prepared are police for pushback from that group that's hostile? The second one is, can we get an update on the claims of extortion that we heard last week? Is there an update in terms of whether there are more claims? Last week we heard of just one incident where one of the community members who was stationed outside Shaft 11 had tried to elicit 30% cut from the contractors. Can we get an update on those investigations? And then just a last one, I guess, maybe out of curiosity, what informed the operation being stationed at Shaft 11 and not 10? Because we're at 10 mostly today, and from what I see, it seems a lot easier to come out from Shaft 10 than it is from 11. 11 requires a whole lot more labor and. So what informed the decision of placing that operation at 11 and not 10, or elsewhere at the other shafts where it might be slightly easier to emerge?
Okay. Let me say, General
Mr. General,
We are not going to talk about operational matters of why 10 or 11. You have been here. The MEC even told you, you are aware. Those who emerged from 10, when they realized that the police were there, they wanted to go down. So we are not going to sit here, share our operational issues and whatever. Like you are saying that you are speaking on the basis of assumption to say that's your assumption that 10 is easier than 11 and whatever. Our position of the government is that these are inoperable mines which are having hazards of methane gas, flooding. So to say this one is easier than this one, it's assumptions. But as to what you see on the ground, it's your observation. But operationally, we are not going to be sharing this because some people are also sending information to these people to say the police are here and whatever. So we will deal with that. This thing of extortion, media, we need to be also proactive. If there's any extortion, there would be a complainant. Now, the report that is in the media says there is one of the people who went to one of the mine rescue teams to demand 30%. The mine rescue team has been called by the government. The MEC has led this task team. It is disturbing that none of the mine rescue team has ever said I was approached, there was this extortion. But there is this narrative that is there. And for us as the police, it's tantamount to chasing after ghosts. We are being sidetracked to focus on non-existent issues, and then we lose focus. So until anybody can say, no, there is complainant X who came and said, I've been extorted, then we can start talking about that. But as far as we are concerned as the police, nobody has come up except this thing that is there to say there's extortion. The issue of the people being heavily armed and whatever, it is not a thumbsuck. We have in the past proven incidents where illegal miners are heavily armed, they have shot at securities, they have shot at the police and whatever. But it is also how we have structured our operation. So whoever is in illegal possession of a firearm, whoever is mining illegally and whatever, we will enforce the law without fear or favor. And we will seize, confiscate whatever that is in their possession that they are not supposed to possess. Be it explosives, be it firearms, be it gold-bearing material, we will confiscate that. And we will do that within the confines of the law. So it must be clear. And then the last issue that I want to talk to Thabang. The media, like I say, let us be clear and not also be seen to be pushing this thing. The court case that we are all talking about, how did it come about? It came about when these people were saying government and by extension the police are preventing them to remove these people. The court, after we put our case, agreed that the experts that are there are saying this thing is dangerous not only to the police, but to themselves only, and also to them. So I'm not sure whether we are talking about issues of tenders here or whatever, when people are saying they are being sidelined. Are they experts? Because even the court says non-essential service personnel must not be anywhere near that place. The court agreed that only people with the necessary expertise must do this thing. So as and when these people are engaging new media, don't just take what they are saying to say they are being sidelined and whatever. The evidence that we are putting before the people of this country and your good selves, which we request you to communicate, is to clearly show that what has been put forth, it's far from the truth. Nobody is being sidelined. They themselves, at one point, when we wanted to say, how do you communicate? They told us, no, their rope is worn out and whatever, and the court agrees with us. So there's nobody who's being sidelined, and this thing, it's not about saying, no, let's give these people the opportunity and whatever. This is a no-go area for non-emergency service personnel, and we will regard it as such. Anybody has the right to approach, whether it's the South African Human Rights Commission, whether it's the court. After all, we are a constitutional state. So, and if the South African Human Rights Commission or anybody that believes that they want to know, they are free to come forward and we will put our case without any ambivalence. So it must be clear. It is their right if they want to go and see the Human Rights Commission. They have gone to the court. They failed in the court to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. Thanks, Amy.
No, thank you very much. I think we must be very careful because we'll end up being taken up and down like a yo-yo, and it's something we're not going to allow. The same people, when you were interviewing them 2-3 weeks ago, they indicated to you that government doesn't care. They are there taking people beneath the ground and all that. The caring government came forth to intervene so that they can be able to step back and essential workers working with the police, can be able to do this thing, and the government shall be able to carry responsibility. When we do that, the same people again, they want to put pressure that they should be allowed because government is taking long and all that thing. So we need to be very careful that people must not take advantage of the fact that we listen to them and they abuse us and they make us to chase a ghost, like the general is indicating. So we'll be steadfast and focused and not listen to those views that its intended purpose is to divert us from our objective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC. Colleague, can we take the last round, please? I'm sure you also need to go and file Fifi. I've noted you, Fifi, but can we also look at colleagues who had arrived, who had just arrived, so that we also accommodate them? Resolika, are you okay? Okay. Okay, I'll take Fifi and Susan, and those will be the last. Thanks. In that order, Fifi and Susan.
Some of the people that are arrested or that are resurfacing, I'll make an example with those that came out yesterday. Amongst them is a 14-year-old, so we are told by the reports from the police. And even those that had previously resurfaced, know that they were minors there. When we are looking into of either them refusing to resurface or being trapped or being held against their will, seeing that these are your 14-year-old, 15-year-olds, are we looking into an element of human trafficking as well that speaks to the whole illegal mining activities, considering that there are minors within this group?
Okay, thanks, Fifi. I think both MEC and General Hassan had covered it earlier, but I'll just request them to go. Yeah, okay, Susan.
Yes, Susan here again from Netwerk 24. I just wanted to clarify shaft 10 and Margaret shaft. Is that the same shaft or is it two different places? Different places. Okay.
So you're covered.
Yeah.
Okay, MEC and General Hassan.
Let's give it to General then. Possibility.
Refile and colleagues. First, as and when people are coming up, we verify their nationalities, we verify their state of health, and age is also one of the things that we check. And there is a reason why we are doing all these things. Now, human trafficking doesn't only apply because one is a minor. Even if you were an adult, if you were to prove and to show us that you were forced to be here against your will, then definitely it will be investigated. We must understand that we are a country that is premised and based on the Constitution and the rule of law. And even if it was not illegal mining, we know that the employment of minors is forbidden by law. We know that human trafficking is a crime. Even the United Nations forbids that. So what I can say, Fifi, is that as and when these people, because most of them are not South Africans, then you would agree with me. They are not South Africans and they are foreigners, foreign nationals who entered South Africa illegally. Previously, we indicated that we are working in close, constant communication with the embassies of Lesotho, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi, based on the nationalities of the people who are here. So as and when this person comes and say, I am a 14-year-old, obviously we will engage the embassy. They will then make a follow-up because their data is not on our database of human, Home Affairs. So we will look into that and then come up with a proof to indeed say this thing, because obviously the parents or wherever he comes from is not information that is available to the South African government. So it is a process that the government will embark on. So, Susan, yours was just to check whether it's the same shaft. Margaret, it's something else. It's a shaft of an operational mine by Harmony Gold. These 11 and 10 shafts are shafts that were previously closed, baffles, and they are not operational. And that's where all the danger is.
No, we're fine.
Okay. Colleagues, thanks again. This brings us to the end of this media briefing. And thank you. So which one? This one? The other one? Okay.